Dude, there's one like the other pool across. I'm at the Mirage right now, and apparently there's one on the other side of the Dolphins exhibit. Is that not a sign or what?
Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs show. This is a NFL offseason that honestly I don't think we've ever seen before in our lives. As always, we're joined by the boys in the attic, Sean and Jake. How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful. We're doing fantastic.
That's
happy
great
to be here.
We'll go ahead and get our special guest out of the way next. Joining us live from the Mirage in Las Vegas, Nevada, Kent Waxman, Dolphins fan. How are you doing?
No better time than right now. Check your pulse. We're getting active.
Awesome. All right. We also have Sam Massaro on the call, longtime friend, part of the brand.
It's just so great to be back on this Zoom call. It's unbelievable. Let's get to business here. Let's go to work.
We also have Scott McCabe checking in from Dublin, Ireland. I think 11:30 over there. So how are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing well. Great to be back. Like Sam said, seeing all these faces again, ready to talk some ball, but I won't lie, I'm absolutely wiped after this free agency. I mean, it's taken its toll. There's so much going on. So ready to get in and discuss it.
We are also joined by Cam in Cleveland, Ohio, one of the most beautiful places in the world. Cam, how are you doing?
Doesn't get better than Cleveland. Feels great.
Spring in Cleveland is unlike anywhere else.
It's beautiful, bro. Palm trees, sunny. But
beaches.
Glad to be back. Let's talk some ball.
We are also joined by the one and only Ahmed Khan coming in from Richmond, Virginia. How are you doing?
What's going on? Good to be back. I'm doing good. Let's talk about some free agency, some trades. Crazy week.
Ahmed also lost his razor this week, so you can tell that he's trying to do a little something with his face there. Is anybody else on the call? I can't see it because I'm over here.
Martin.
Oh, yeah, Martin's here. All right. Well, we're joined by the Chin.
That's all that needs to be said.
As well.
Crazy days, blockbuster trades left and right, people getting signed, inked to some new money. Jake Lewis, that salmon shirt really brings out your eye complexion. I really love it. Big Sandy in the stew?
No, bro. No show.
He just showed up. You want to call him? I called him. He didn't answer me.
He's either asleep or my mom found his jewel again. So there's literally only two options. Ken, good to see you. You look like
put that on a t-shirt.
You in Mexico or where you at?
Oh, what up? I'm in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas, beautiful.
Yeah, spring break, boy.
The fucking Dolphins get Tyreek Hill. He runs to Vegas to start betting on him. You love
I don't blame him.
Oh my God.
Let's get into that. So, like the trade of the day, the reason that we had to have this show immediately, and we had to have Kent join us immediately. Tyreek Hill was traded to the Miami Dolphins out of nowhere, was trying to get a new contract. The Chiefs wouldn't give him a new contract, so he was granted the right to look for a trade, and the Jets and the Dolphins, of all teams, were the two suitors. He ends up in Miami. Kent is here to tell us why the Miami Dolphins are now a much better franchise.
First and foremost, I just want to give my thanks to Laramie Tunsil because that is the biggest heist in the NFL that I've ever seen. We basically traded a left tackle that dropped to us because of a picture of a bong for 4 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders, which turned out to be our starting safety, starting corners, and two of our top wide receivers, now Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So I don't want to front and say that we're going to be the GOATs, but we're pretty good right now.
Obviously, the main question mark going forward with the Dolphins will be Tua. Is he the guy? Is he not the guy? Ken, I just want to get your unbiased opinion. Is Tua the guy?
I think he's amazing. I think year 3, we really could see something from him. We kind of gave him that ability for speed that he had in college and made him such an electric guy and obviously the 5th overall pick. So giving him the speedsters, like we also have Cedric Wilson too, who we signed, who definitely is not a scrub either. So our top 3 wide receivers all run like under 5-second 40s, which is something that really is obviously prized in the NFL today. And it's really cool to see that we actually were able to grab 3 of them and actually be able to put the team together. So give him some speed, replace something like Henry Ruggs that he had in at his time in Alabama, and you really never know. And also we got Teron Armstead yesterday. So that's definitely last 24 hours have really shaped our team to be something to watch out for. I'm not going to lie. We look a little scary.
I don't know about you, but that one kind of flew under the radar for me. Like, I feel like Teron Armstead was always in the top 5 of everyone's free agency signings list. And then, he gets signed to a 5-year deal for the Dolphins. Like, that's definitely huge. They've had O-line problems before. Any more protection for Tua will hopefully, help him out. So I think that's definitely, they're making the right moves in the right direction. Stephen Ross came under some fire with Brian Flores and everything, but I think that their PR is slowly but surely on the uptick.
I want to say, Kent, that your praise for Tua shows that you might have been in Vegas a little too long, because that was ridiculous. I'm a left-handed thrower myself, and I'm pretty sure I could throw a football farther than Tua Tagovailoa could.
I'm pretty sure you couldn't, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure.
Come on, Martin.
I've met you, Sam. Haven't met Tua, but I don't know. You're not tossing dots to Devonta Smith in the game-winning play in the national championship. I'm a firm Tua believer. I'm not even a Dolphins fan because I'm from Indy. I'm a Colts fan. Shout out Matt Ryan. But no, I'm a firm believer in Tua, and everything that Kent said, I echo it.
So my question would be,
my man,
the Dolphins up to this point have shown little to no faith in Tua. Evidence of that being benching him multiple times in games in the fourth quarter for a 38-year-old guy with a beer belly. And, also being constantly in trade rumors with Deshaun Watson and other quarterbacks. So I just don't know if he has a average to below average year and they miss the playoffs. Are they going to stick with him, or is they immediately just going to move off him? So
this is something that I actually would love to talk on, because everyone's all like, oh, if Tua sucks this year, what's going to be the fate of the franchise? And the best part of it is they're literally hedging their bets. They give up none of their 2 first-rounders they have next year. Thank you again, Laramie Tunsil. He literally has been setting up the future of this franchise, which is actually insane with that one trade. He literally walked into the room when he was getting traded and said, I would trade myself for that. That's crazy. So respect to my man. But, so if nothing really happens with Tua this year and they actually do want to move on, they have anything but no flexibility, because they have 2 first-rounders. They have contracts they can cut next year. And they also have a lot of these great players that are on their radar, and now all of a sudden want to be like, hey, maybe I can make something out of my career in Miami. Their O-line's being revamped. They have the best left tackle. You could argue the best left tackle in the league, and the best lineman you can get in the offseason, and they just signed him. And you could understand that things are coming together, as in Mike McDaniel's the new head coach, and there's a West Coast offense there, which is basically big guys that really like to block, and the running game's going to be awesome. That could open up a lot of free agent signings for us next year. So the process is still going on, and it's really exciting to see that this actually could really take off. So all I want to say is, even if Tua sucks this year, it's not the end of the world, because they have more capital next year in terms of picks and whatever not that they have this year. So that's pretty
Wait, can I ask you a question, Ken?
Hold on. I have very good news for Ken. If he refers to my background, if the lucky lefty of Miami does not pan out and you guys want to draft one, there's another one on my screen right there. The Red Rock.
Let's go.
Armstrong, he'll be hitting draft boards. He'll be firing those places up. If you guys are looking for another lefty to fill the suit of the quarterback for the Dolphins' future, that's your guy right there.
Thank you, Martin.
Yeah.
Ken, just real quick, Ken. So let's say Tua sucks or gets hurt or something, and they're really good. Let's say they're like 6-2 or something, 6-1. You think Teddy can take him through to the playoffs?
He's a South Florida native, so that's pretty cool to have him on the team backing up Tua. Obviously, I think he could win us games, especially behind this revamped team. But I think Tua is definitely the wild card here. Year 3, Josh Allen was pretty great in year 3 of his career. So I just want to see what Tua can do.
the second biggest, maybe arguably the biggest trade, Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos, just completely stacks the AFC West and changes the AFC playoff picture completely. So anybody can jump in, anyone who hasn't said anything yet. What do you guys think this means for the Broncos? Are they a legit Super Bowl contender? And are they the favorites to win the AFC West now?
All right, here's the deal. I like the Chargers.
Give Kirk Cousins, calm down.
I like the Chargers in the AFC West, but I think the Broncos are going for it. They're all in. They traded Drew Lock for Russell Wilson and some other stuff, of course. But I mean, come on, talk about an upgrade of epic proportions. The wide receivers have got to step up. Judy, KJ Hamler, they need to take a leap. They have Javonte Williams, great running back, good defense. Say again, what?
Cortland Sutton, too.
Cortland Sutton. Yeah, but these guys, you know, if you were to grade receiving cores, these guys are like a B minus. Hopefully Russ can elevate them to an A minus, A range here. Offensive minded head coach. I think they're an 11-win team. So not the favorites in that division. I really like the moves that the Chargers made with Khalil Mack and JC Jackson, but the Broncos are going for it. And
shout out to the Bears.
That long, I guess, train of quarterbacks since Peyton Manning. What was it? Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Drew Lock. God, it's just making my head hurt just saying these guys' names. Now they got their guy. Brock Osweiler.
Tim Tebow.
Tebow was before Peyton, Cam. Come on, dude. Tebow got blackballed. He should still be on a roster. We're not going to talk about that. But Russ is their guy, and we'll see what he can do. I think their over-under total on wins is going to be like 9.5, 10.5, and I think they're going to get to 11. I like them. I do.
I think the Broncos are going to be just like another replica of the Seahawks, like the Seahawks 2.0, like good receiver core, decent receiver core. Offensive line is probably not the best. I don't think the Broncos have a notorious offensive line. A little subpar. That's what I'm saying. It's like just Seahawks 2.0, subpar running back, subpar O-line, very decent receivers, and a good
defense is definitely better in Denver than it was in Seattle. But I agree with you, Cam. I don't think that this changes that much. I mean, obviously, as Jake said, Drew Lock's nowhere near Russell Wilson, but like Russell Wilson had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett last year in Seattle, and they won like 4 or 5 games, I think, maybe more. But I just don't know, like, where this Russell Wilson's now going to be Russell Wilson 5 years ago is coming from. But maybe I'm wrong. Guys who've changed teams the last couple of years have kind of had a revive in their new location. So maybe so. But
allow me to pose a question. I think the AFC West is now the most stacked division in all of the NFL.
Undoubtedly.
Agreed.
Definitely up there. However, I think if somebody asked me, I was talking about it with my roommate Jack Keenan, friend of the show. Do I think that all 4 teams from the AFC West are going to make the playoffs? And I said no. And I think the team that is going to be the laggard behind the rest will be the Denver Broncos.
Oh,
I agree. I totally agree with that, Martin.
Because I was thinking
100%.
Raiders, but you don't remember that motherfucking Devontae Adams is on the Raiders, and he's going to make Derek Carr look like goddamn.
So that's a good thing to lead us into this. So let's just go really quickly through potential AFC playoff teams. These are just a couple: Denver Broncos, Cincinnati Bengals, Indianapolis Colts, Buffalo Bills, Tennessee Titans, Los Angeles Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, New England Patriots, Oakland or Las Vegas Raiders, Miami Dolphins, maybe more. I mean, like, that's already like 13 teams. So like, there's going to be some good teams that don't make playoffs this year. And I don't know. Who do you think, like, out of those teams I just said, who do you guys think wouldn't make playoffs?
Browns.
We're about to take off for dinner, but my friend of the show, Jack Keenan, has an opinion to make if you don't mind.
I don't think the Titans make the playoffs this year. I think
Let's go.
Keenan, what's up?
the division and there's no wild cards.
He thinks Colts take the AFC South and there's no wild cards from the AFC South. And you know what? As a Colts fan, I'm biased, but my God, we got Matty Ice, baby. Let's go.
All right. See you later, Martin. Thank you.
Have a good dinner, Martin.
I think the Chargers are going to win the AFC West.
Agreed.
In my opinion. And I'm a little bit biased because as sad as I was when Khalil Mack got traded from the Bears, which I still can't even wrap my head around, I'm still a Khalil Mack super fan. I'll probably get a jersey for him from the Chargers because I love him that much. But I think Brandon Staley had a wet dream when he figured out that Khalil Mack was coming to Los Angeles, where the fuck they are now. I don't even know.
JCU alumni.
I said it.
JCU, baby. But yeah, I think they are good, and especially if they can stay healthy on the offense. I think Jay Herbo, he's good, and I don't know. Raiders are in it now. I thought it was at first before Devontae Adams. I thought it was Chiefs, Chargers. I mean, the Chiefs could be on more of a decline than originally anticipated, considering they had trouble pulling it together when they had Tyreek Hill, and now obviously they have plenty of playmakers. They're a great team, but Tyreek Hill was that guy, that 75-yard touchdown guy, that game changer. They don't have him anymore. Obviously, you have Travis Kelce still.
They don't.
They're still a great team, but it's I love the Chargers to win the AFC West this season, and I'm going to put a future on it. And Josh McDaniels is their new head coach. Josh McDaniels, the last time he was a head coach, it was a fucking dumpster fire.
True.
I forget what team he was. I think it was the Raiders, but it was terrible.
JCU alumni. Josh McDaniels. Just put that out there.
JCU has all of the like high level football execs for some reason.
Lots of football minds at JCU.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else to do in Cleveland.
True.
You never know, Sam. I might give you a contract one day.
Cleveland beat the shit out of me, dude. I never want to go there again. The sun doesn't shine.
You guys
Cleveland
terrible.
is one of the worst cities I've ever been to in my life. I
I
had one of
the worst.
I had one of the worst days of my life in Cleveland as well.
Me too. I'm right there with
You got to
you.
pay me
I- on top of
$230
that-
billion to go to Cleveland.
And that
So-
stadium, the Browns stadium, fucking sucks. It is terrible.
We
So-
dropped Tommy off at the airport, and he forgot his phone in the car. So let's add that to the trip. It didn't contribute.
And
Cleveland had nothing to do
they
with
weren't aware of the fact that I left my phone in the car until they were already home and it was too late. So
that.
but regardless, no one gives a
Cleveland
fuck
had
about that. I think that out of those teams I just said, I think a surprise team that isn't going to make playoffs this year that Jake might have some contention with is the New England Patriots, just because of the fact that they didn't really make any huge offensive signings this year. And the weapons in the AFC are just continuing to pile up. And I know that Mac Jones showed that he is a good quarterback and will be a good quarterback, but I just don't know if they have the horses at this point to compete with the rest of the teams in the AFC. But I mean, there's going to be a good team or two or three that doesn't make playoffs this year. So
No, for sure. Like, but I gotta say though, like as I look at the AFC West, right, it feels like a lot of people are just forgetting where the Chiefs were last year. I mean, they went through that slump and they got out of it. They did very well to get out of it. The offseason has been a weird one for the Chiefs. I feel like the whole of the AFC West, bar the Chiefs, has stacked themselves up. You know, each team's gone out, got a superstar gone. We're not the beaten boys anymore. You're not going to kick us. You're not going to do this. You're not going to bully us. We're going to sort this out. We're going to get the star power in. And you look at the Chiefs and you kind of felt like they sat back and went, look, we'll sit tight. We've got the talent. And all of a sudden, Tyreek, whether he kicked up a storm or not, we might not know how that went down.
well,
it didn't seem like there was
part
a
of
lot
that
drama.
too is that they don't have any money. So
That's the cap space. Now the Chiefs have the cap space, but then you look at it, they got Juju. Juju, I liked as the number 2 guy. You look at that receiving core now, they lost Byron Pringle. They have Mecole Hardman now, and they have Juju. Honestly, I don't think that's a wide receiving core that can win the Super Bowl. I just don't see it. And I think that takes away the deep threat that Tyreek used to give the Chiefs. Mecole has those jet burners, but he's no Tyreek. Are teams going to double coverage on him? I don't think so. So I'm very, very intrigued to see how this Tyreek departure impacts the Chiefs, but don't write them out because they are the Chiefs and they are Mahomes, but Mahomes has never really had a proper season without Tyreek. So let's see how this all balances and plays out. I'm intrigued for it, but I will say 5 draft picks for one non-QB player is massive, and the Chiefs cashed in, and I think they did a great job on that.
at this point, the Chiefs are not as good of a roster as the Chargers, and one could even argue, aside from quarterback, the Raiders as well. And it, 3 teams making it out of one division is already tough, but 4 is impossible thus far. So, I mean, we'll see. It could happen. It would be insane, but you got to look at the AFC North too. I mean, the Steelers right now, unfortunately, are the worst team in the AFC North. The Browns obviously got Deshaun Watson. That's something we haven't talked about yet as a program. But Deshaun Watson, when we last saw him, was one of the top league leaders in just about every passing stat there is. So that's definitely something that we're going to have to worry about. And the AFC North is going to have to worry about, not to mention the Bengals were a Super Bowl team last year. And the Ravens, although they didn't really make any huge signings this offseason either, are still one of the best teams in the AFC. So there's going to be a lot of close races. And I think that even more so than we saw this year, it's going to really come down to that last week. And it's going to be awesome to watch. So I'm pumped for that. But we will go ahead and just do a little bit of a off-season prediction. We did this last year, and we went back to it a couple of times. So we'll just say now, I guess, who we think will be the AFC champion, the NFC champion. And if you want to go ahead and throw your Super Bowl pick in there as well, you can. Ahmed, I don't know if you have talked at all on the show yet. So if you want to start, you can go ahead. Sean, too. I don't know if you've talked either. So go ahead.
I'll let somebody else start it off.
Oh yeah, Mo. Go. Yeah.
No. I'll let somebody else
I'll start
start it off.
My prediction
Sean
is
just wants to unleash on the city of Cleveland for a second.
I just did not like your comment, Tommy, that the Browns are currently better than the Steelers. I don't believe that to be true.
Sean, I appreciate the fact that you wanted to say something there and call me out on it, because I was honestly curious if you were going to or not. And I'm glad that you did. And I will take this opportunity to just express the fact that I am now fully bought in on Mitch. Sam can back me up. He's led me on that path. I just think that he didn't really get a fair shake in Chicago, and that he may have been under a horrible head coach.
Yeah, literally.
And
he's good. He's a good football player.
Yeah, and so who knows? We're giving him a shot. There are also rumors that if Baker gets cut, we may be interested in him. So who knows about that? But as it sits today, we have guy who was in the Super Bowl last year, Joe Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks in the league already in his going into his third year. Lamar Jackson, former MVP, and Deshaun Watson, who, probably could have been an MVP if not for his off the field issues. So, Sean, if you just look at it right now, we have to play those three teams twice a year. And I don't know if we're favored in any of those games. I do think we have the best defense in the league, though. I'll say that on this program for the listeners. And we have the best player in the NFL in TJ Watt. So our defense will probably win us a couple games, and we just need Mitch to not turn the ball over. That's really what's going to come down to. But it's going to be an uphill battle for the Steelers to make the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky when you have literally a Pro Bowl team of quarterbacks in the AFC North. So
I get that, Tommy, but what are your thoughts on the draft? Would you like you guys to go after? I personally, I would love you guys went for Malik Willis or someone exciting like that. And if that fails, take Trubisky and go, hang on, look, we took a chance.
Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. I think it would be a good pickup if we got Malik Willis. I just think that over these past couple of weeks, his personality has come out more to the world, which is just like shooting up his draft stock immensely. And people are really starting to become a fan of him. And that does mean something. And I think that, he had his pro day yesterday, and Kevin Colbert, GM of the Steelers, was seen smiling right after he threw a huge pass. And so that got the internet going. But I just honestly don't think he'll be there by the time we pick. If he is, I couldn't tell you if we would take him or not after signing Mitch. Who knows? But I don't know. I think that personally what we'll do is end up just going offensive line because that's a big need. But who knows?
I like it.
I think
let's do our predictions. Cam, do you want to go first?
Yeah. For my predictions were the most spot on last year. I feel like
what were your predictions?
I had the Chargers going really far, and no one. They were some sleepers.
Really far, really.
They make the playoffs,
man. Come on.
They didn't make the playoffs, Cam.
I'm gonna say it again. The Chargers. This is the Chargers' year. They had a few holes last year. Their defense was a little wishy-washy, but thanks to Bears fan Sam, they filled that hole with a big guy named Khalil Mack. He's also, I believe, if not, somewhere near Palm. Is he a Palm Beach native? He played at Pahokee.
Palm Beach?
He's from Pahokee.
That's close. Close enough. Yeah. Close enough. That's all that matters. We got Bosa.
They got J.C. Jackson from the Patriots too.
J.C. Jackson, a bunch of.
Blue Max from Fort Pierce. Same
thing. Anyways, the offense is still stacked. We got Eckler, Herbert, Keenan, Mike. There's too many stars on this team for it not to.
So Cam, you're talking AFC or Super Bowl?
I'm going Super Bowl.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
So I don't know
who do you think the NFC Championship is going to be, or who's going to win the AFC or NFC Championship?
NFC or AFC?
Who's going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl?
I don't know, dude. I really don't know.
You know, it's the star. Come on, Cam. It's the star. Come on.
I can tell you one team. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
make
fucking
up your
Stars.
fucking mind, dude. It's 2 teams. Just say them.
Well, I want to say the Cowboys, but y'all.
Why? Why would you want to say that?
No, why wouldn't you want to say that?
Just because I love Scott. Just because I love.
Rams are repeating. Everyone knows it. Rams are going back to back.
They're not.
They're not going
not,
back to
they're
back.
not.
They're not.
They just got Allen Robinson. Like they're going back to
They're
back.
not going back. Allen Robinson, Sam. Just because you're a band, like you're just giving these guys.
Were you about to call me bandwagon?
Allen Robinson. He's not.
I've stuck through the darkest of times. I had to have Mark Trestman as a coach of my team, and whatever the fuck his name, Fox. John Fox, Matt Nagy, and now God knows what the fuck Matt Eberflus is gonna do. And I'm still there. I am not. Allen Robinson is a good fucking receiver, and if you put him into the right system, he's gonna play.
Sam, what are your Super Bowl predictions?
My Super Bowl predictions is obviously Rams go back to it. I say Rams are going to go back. I don't know if they're going to win. The Bengals are going to be in the mix again. I think they go to the AFC Championship against someone else. I don't know if the Bengals are going to go. I think the Bengals make the AFC Championship, but I think they're going to get beat out by someone. I'm saying
Sam,
Bills or Chargers. I think it's the Bills' year, honestly. I think the Chargers got another year or two until they can make something happen, but it's the Bills' time now.
Is there any chance that because of the fact that Aaron Rodgers now has no wide receivers at all, the Bears win the NFC North this year?
There is a chance. That's the
Justin
worst.
Fields takes the
I
next
didn't
step.
want to say it, but there is a chance, which is so scary that there is a chance because there is. It's literally, honestly, if it really all depends on what the Packers do, but if the Packers aren't good, then it's a dogfight between Minnesota and Chicago. And I'm sorry, Jake, but Minnesota fucking sucks. They're the Vikings. Like, they're never going to change. They're just the Vikings.
The utter blasphemy. Are you fucking kidding?
That's the point.
You can
He
give your
just
predictions.
signs
Jake.
to Darius Smith, dude. He wants to murder Aaron Rodgers. I fucking love this guy. He switched over to the better team in the NFC North. Listen, Minnesota, Kent, we love you, buddy. Godspeed. Minnesota needs to stop wasting Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, arguably the best wide receiver back tandem in the league.
Ooh.
They're wasting those guys' talent. We need to get to 10 wins this year, or else I'm going to be very upset. We're also giving Kirk Cousins 30 gobs of millions of dollars. That needs to stop. My Super Bowl pick. Oh, here, Scott, go ahead.
No, it was a genius. I have to praise the Vikings on how they did it. They slit that Kirk Cousins contract right after the Brady news, so it was completely overshadowed. Everyone went next day, oh, Brady. Wait, hang on. Kirk signed an extension.
They sure did.
Actually
They sure did.
Crazy, man.
They sure
Chaos.
did. Overshadowed to some, not to me. My Super Bowl pick is Tampa Bay from the NFC and the Baltimore Ravens from the AFC.
You're just going to lose more money.
I'm betting on Lamar Jackson until he either leaves the team or retires. That is all I'm fucking saying. All right?
Wait, Jake.
Go on. What?
I just have a question. So, like, your reason for liking the Ravens is because you like Lamar. So you're like, if he leaves the Ravens, then I'm done betting. Like, why would you like?
If Lamar Jackson joined the Jaguars tomorrow, I would bet on the Jaguars to be in the Super Bowl.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I
thank
am
you.
saying that with a straight.
That's what I just wanted to clarify for the listeners.
The NFC is weird because I feel like it's really only Tampa or the Rams. I don't trust the Packers.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wait.
agree.
Oh, huge X factor that Sean just reminded me of when we were talking to ourselves. Biggest X factor in the NFL this year is if Trey Lance is good.
Yeah,
right now, I have no fucking clue if he's good,
is
so
true.
I can't bet on it.
The
If
NFC
I see him in
so bad.
preseason and he looks good, I might pick them. But right now, I'm going Bucks in the NFC, Ravens in the AFC.
The NFC is so bad that if Trey Lance is good, they will be a contender like immediately.
Out of the AFC, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. And out of the NFC, I have a surprise pick with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be
Battle of Pennsylvania.
Battle of Pennsylvania for the Super Bowl. I believe,
and you guys thought my prediction.
I believe Jalen Hurts is going to have a historic season.
I know.
Sean, What is the difference between this year's Eagles and last year's Eagles?
I don't know. I think he had a year under his belt. I think he doesn't really have like.
They do have some good draft picks. Depends
Yeah,
what they do.
I don't know. I think it'd just be cool. No really logic behind it.
A Pennsylvania Super Bowl.
That would be cool.
Jake, I know you said they have draft picks. That it's the same team that picked Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles do not know how to draft, so
You know,
that's something. But I mean, Jason Kelsey came back, so he's believing in the squad. They made the playoffs last year, even though Jake picks them to have the worst record in the league. So who knows? Maybe they will go to the Super Bowl. No one thought the Bengals were going to go to the Super Bowl, so we don't know anything. But Scott, do you want to do yours?
Yeah, I mean, what a line to follow on. We don't know anything, and then I'm going to give my picks. But yeah, from the AFC, I've kind of debated this for a while. I do like the Bills. I think it could be their time. So I'm not going to take two. I'm not going to be unfair like that. But the flashy team, I'm really excited to see them this year. It's the Chargers. I love what they've done. There's a lot of hype around them. Sometimes that can backfire. We've seen it in the past. But look, the Rams, they were getting a lot of hype, and look how that panned out. So AFC, if the Chargers get out of the West, they top the AFC West, I like them to really go all the way. But it all depends on how those first few weeks goes. And honestly, the AFC West could be decided by like week 4 or 5 by the way these teams kind of play against each other. And, you know, those interdivisional matchups are going to be huge. So I'm going to roll with the Chargers on a mad one on there. And I mean, NFC, I want to take my Cowboys, but we have been so boring this offseason.
Thank you.
We've lost our top wide
Thank you for
receiver.
respecting the integrity of the show, Scott.
I have to, you know, like the Amari Cooper trade. I get it. We had to get him go. We had to get something for him, but it hurt a lot. And we haven't really acted. And there's still a lot of great free agents out there, wide receivers. I'd love for us to go after like a Julio or I don't know, an Antonio Brown. They're such Cowboys wide receivers. They bring the glitz, the glam. Let's go for it. But we haven't. And we've actually lost a few members of our own O-line, like Connor Williams. So I'm going to stay away from Dallas. From
Lyle Collins too.
Lyle Collins as well. Look, the list goes on, and we're very dependent on CD Lamb being our number 1 wide receiver, and I like it. I like him as the number 2 guy. Is he ready for that leap yet? It's going to be vital to our season if he is or not. So that's one to watch. NFC though, Brady's back, guys, and he gets better each year. He had his top season in passing yards last year. And I was speaking to Marcus Grant doing an interview, and he said, Brady's like a fine wine, this, that. He says, you predicting the end of Brady's career and his like slump is like predicting the end of the world. Eventually you're going to be right, but it's going to take a lot of time. And I think Brady is they've got the surrounding core. They got Fournette back. They got the weapons. They're there. And an awful lot has changed. And Ryan Jensen signed his contract as soon as he found out that Brady was back. They're strong. And the NFC, as you guys have been saying the whole show, it's AFC and the NFC. And that's how it feels right now. It's too lopsided. So I think Brady can do it and run it back. So get his 8th ring, which would be insane.
For the AFC,
Washington Commanders.
Washington Commanders. You know, we'll get to that. But my predictions, I mean, I think the AFC is just like throw up. There's so many good teams. There's so much talent. I think if I had to pick 2 teams that I'm leaning on to win the AFC, I would say Raiders.
Ooh.
And I'd say the Chargers.
Damn.
Those are my 2 AFC. I like the Raiders and I like the Chargers. Now, if we go to the NFC, I think the Rams are going to run it back. I mean, like, this is a very talented team. Look at the NFC. You guys don't have much. I know Scott just talked about the Bucs. The Bucs, they don't have that many weapons anymore. I mean, like, they're a team. They fell off. Brady came back. I know he came back, but
Godwin and Mike Evans are still there.
That's it. Gronk ain't going anywhere.
Godwin's knees fucked up.
If teams didn't get stacked over this offseason, I would have said Brady. But look at the teams in the AFC. Look at the teams in the NFC. I mean,
don't mind the AFC. They just need to, it's the NFC we're talking. Like,
I get that.
You know?
But the Rams are still in there. I would have said Cardinals, but the Cardinals are out of the picture.
Does it concern people that Von Miller quit on the Rams?
He didn't quit on them.
He could have resigned. He could have resigned there, and he chose to go live in Buffalo, New York. So
he's ring chasing, bro.
Yeah, I wouldn't take too much out of that.
You can't call it ring chasing if he literally just won a ring. In the place where he's at.
You can call it 120 million reasons to live in Buffalo. 120 million.
Yeah, that's valid. But
maybe he just likes wings.
Yeah, maybe he
Do
just
we even
likes
think
playing
Von
in
Miller is Von Miller worth 120 million?
For 6 years, he's gonna be 30. What?
Cam,
38?
the
36?
reason that it's that much money, and that's not guaranteed money. I forget what the actual guaranteed money is, but it's way less. That contract was spread out over 6 years, so they could spread out the money so that they could afford him. But there's 0% chance he's going to play all 6 years of those contract. So
I don't want to.
It's not going to be what that money says it is. So
I don't want to interrupt Mo. I know he was in his thing, but just as we're getting onto contracts and crazy ones, I think it's got to be the craziest one was the Christian Kirk deal. I couldn't believe that. 4 years.
That was ridiculous.
Like this was he's the number 2, number 3 guy at best. You'll have a flash here and there. To give him the money, I think it was like 75 million or upwards of that. He's the number 1 guy there. 18 a year, like
guaranteed
you said, Sam.
too.
Guaranteed, and the man's never even had a 1,000-yard receiving season. Like, oh look,
that's
I couldn't believe it. It's
I
shocking.
think. All right, I want to jump in on that. I think the Jaguars, they've had a pretty good offseason. I mean, they've signed a couple people. I think
Doug Peterson's now there as well.
Yeah, who's the guy that just it was Miles Jack, right? The one the Steelers just picked up. I think losing him was something, but I think that they're trying to build a team around Trevor Lawrence. I think earlier in the season, throughout the season, last season, I guess, I was saying the Jaguars are a come-up team. Now they've got some talent. Christian Kirk, I don't think he was worth that much money. I think there were so many other guys that they could have picked out.
The problem with the Jaguars is that no one wants to play for the Jaguars. So like you can't get like a good receiver in the middle of his career to want to play for a team that has never been good. Like a guy like Christian Kirk doesn't give a fuck because that's the only team that's going to give him $75 million. So he doesn't care if they suck. He's getting paid $75 million. But like
and he's young.
And he's young.
Let me ask you something though. When looking at quarterbacks, what do you guys think about Trevor Lawrence? That after I
don't know if it's fair to have like if you were to say he's not going to be good, I don't know if that's fair yet because of everything that happened last year, and it's even coming out worse about how bad of a coach Urban was. But I mean, he did not look very good last year at all. Like,
but that's
I know that it wasn't a lot of weapons, but I mean, like there are guys that go to teams like Joe Burrow to the Jags and they didn't have Jamar Chase's first year. Like he still had flashes of like, this guy's going to be a dude. Like
he beat the Colts.
I mean, but Trevor still did have those weapons. He had James Robinson, a stud running back, which Urban Meyer just refused to use. And that really hurt to watch his progression.
Urban Meyer's a muppet.
Oh, but that was hard to watch. And the same, like he had Marvin Jones as well and Visca Chanel. They're not amazing names, but they're reliable pass catching options. And he didn't look worthy of that first overall pick, though, I will say. What's your take on that, Mo?
I think he's a good quarterback. I mean, with the team, it was his first year. He's trying to figure things out. Urban Meyer's there. That whole thing messed him up. I think that just messed up the entire team. But at the same time, they didn't have an O-line. I mean, like I know the Commanders just signed up one of their guys, one of their O-linemen who's pretty good. But I think the team that was built around him from the time that he came in, I think he knew this wasn't going to be his season or the Jaguars' season. I think if you give him a team, I think that's he's not the best quarterback out there, but I'm saying for a team like that, after a couple of years, you give him some experience. I think that's a guy that you're going to start a lot, or he's going to be a big name in the NFL. So I think.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No. I'm just saying my whole point of that, to answer you, Scott, is I think if they build a team around him, I think he's a great quarterback. I think if they give him the options, if they give him the weapons, they have a solid O-line. Their defense is not the best, but at the same time, I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the future. Not saying next season, but in the future.
In time. I like it.
Ahmed, really quick, over under 9 wins, Washington Commanders.
Under.
Wait, all right. So I want to talk
the
about
NFC's so bad though, so they might.
Under.
All right. So that's something I do want to address. One, we haven't talked about the new name change either, but we'll get to that.
We don't need to be honest. It sucks.
It's not the best coming from a Washington fan. So Carson Wentz, obviously not the guy that we were looking for, right? Obviously, but it's somebody who we got. You look at our team. We have a couple missing pieces, but at the same time, the quarterback was the biggest thing that we needed. I think Carson Wentz isn't the worst thing. Last year we got Fitzmagic. The dude's 38, beer belly, like you said, Tommy. Not the best guy out there. But Carson Wentz, I think he's a quarterback. I think we can win a couple games. I think definitely over 9 games.
Do you think he can beat Dallas? with
Oh
him.
yeah, for sure.
Oh boy, I can't wait
sure.
to replay this.
And then
Oh,
Sean
Tommy,
Payton
can we
and
clip
Eagles?
this so we know
Yeah,
that
for
when
sure.
the Cowboys play?
for sure.
I'm rooting for the Commanders, by the way. I'm a fan.
When
of
are you?
Carson
Come
Wentz.
on, like no surprise there. Love my Cowboys, but no. I was delighted when I saw the Wentz news. He doesn't scare me. The Cowboys have his number when he was at the Eagles. We'll do the same here. It's cool.
I think
Ahmed, I honestly think we need to mass produce like a T-shirt of like two guys like on horses going into war, and it's like you on one and Carson Wentz on other. It's like Commander Carson and you.
Yes. I mean, one thing I do want to shout out, I got some Boys Upstairs apparel on. Definitely go out to the shop, check this out. It's a classic. But,
Shameless plug.
Shameless, yes. But I think Carson, if he stays healthy, I know he's got a bad knee. A lot of people look at him, he's washed up, but I think if he stays healthy, the O-line protects him. We got a couple guys on there. I think definitely over 9 wins. Cowboys for sure. Eagles, Sean picking the Eagles.
For sure. Oh my god.
But yeah, I'm taking him over 9 wins.
McKissick also like the rumor came out that he was signing with the Bills, and then he just was like, "Fuck that, I'm coming back to the Commanders." So
that's because he believes. He believes in the team.
Are we still talking about Washington for God's sake?
Jake,
Rip my fucking hair out.
Jake, over under 9 wins, Washington's Commanders.
I'd rather bet on darts. I'm not.
No, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. What do you think? Just yes or no?
Who's the quarterback again?
Wentz.
They're gonna go 7-10. I'll take the under. Sorry, Mo.
Damn.
Sorry.
All good. Yeah.
All right. Well,
It's going under. It's going under.
Under.
At this point,
Awful division.
At this point, the NFC is so bad that like they might make the playoffs. I mean, they might, like, who knows? But
we haven't talked about Deshaun Watson or the Browns.
We did, but thank you for listening.
No, we didn't go deep into
I don't remember talking about Deshaun.
I don't remember. Yeah, you brought it up, but we never talked about it.
We talked about it for a little minute.
I did. I said that the Steelers were the worst team in the AFC North, and Sean called me out on that. And I mean, one thing that I will say about Deshaun Watson is that, I mean, just using Big Ben's situation as like an example, Big Ben got a 6-game suspension for his alleged actions off the field.
They were not alleged.
And well, nothing was charged. And so Deshaun Watson, similarly, nothing was charged. The difference is that Ben had one person accuse him and Deshaun Watson has 22 or 21. So I don't know how long his suspension will be, but that also will affect their playoff chances. So I don't know. I mean, the Browns are definitely just a question mark right now because of that situation, but they definitely got better. They rolled the dice.
They rolled the dice. How would he get suspended if all the cases are like cleared?
I don't really know. I think it's because it's a bad look for the NFL, but that's just how it goes.
That's a little fucked.
It's the same with Ezekiel Elliott and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird with the Browns because like Deshaun, we're all just in the past thinking about what he did. He's rusty. He hasn't played a snap since like 2020. And you go in at the Browns for a minute. I was like, oh my God, the Browns have Jarvis Landry and they've Amari Cooper and they've got that run game. And I was like, hang on, Jarvis Landry just did a farewell post to Cleveland. He wants out of there. You'd think if it was this kind of thing that, you know, the culture was changing and it was this and it was that he'd be like doing everything in his power to stay there. He's not. And for that reason, I just think that there's something. Yeah, I'd love that, but I just feel like there's something he might feel it. Like players are attracted, like we said, you know, with the Jags. No one's going to go to the Jags because they know that they're probably not going to do it and make a championship run. I feel like if he was getting even like a sense that, you know, this team was going to go somewhere, he would stay there and not be doing a farewell post. I think that's just a really interesting angle to look at and why he's kind of looking to get out of there. I don't blame him. I mean, he might just want a new look, but he's been a legend for that club. So that's a weird one on that. But yeah, look, intrigued to see how Deshaun plays and what goes on. But look, there's a lot of top free agents there as well. Like, you know, you have Julio Jones. That's a question I'll pose to the guys. Is Julio Jones washed, or was he just not given a good enough opportunity with the Titans?
I could honestly see him going to Green Bay just because they are in desperate need of a wide receiver.
True.
And Marquez Valdez, I don't even know how you say it, but Scantling just had to try or work out with the Chiefs today. So he's leaving. Potentially, I don't know if Rodgers is just cool with everybody leaving and him having no one, because that was kind of the reason he wanted to leave, but who knows? It's going to be a wild year. Thank you guys for being on the call. Thank you everyone for listening. And let's have a good rest of the offseason. I would say the best offseason ever so far. So,
great to be back, boys. Great to be back.
Fantastic.
Ready for football.
Go Jaguars.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Peace, gang.
Peace, gentlemen.